Why in the F is that security guard all up on Sophie Cunningham? And look, I think there is a reason she got up in Sophie's face. And I don't think there was any need to sort of.
What should have been a fairy tale moment for the Indiana Fever was instantly hijacked by a bizarre and ugly display of power. In the middle of their biggest playoff win in years, a scene unfolded on the sidelines that had nothing to do with basketball and everything to do with control, revealing a shocking truth the WNBA has desperately tried to keep hidden. The Indiana Fever had done the impossible, securing a spot in the semifinals by advancing past the Connecticut Sun without their sideline superstar, Caitlin Clark. The arena was a sea of roaring fans. The players were embracing in cathartic celebration, and the bench was erupting in pure, unadulterated joy. It was the kind of wholesome, electrifying moment that defines sports, but in the background, a storm was brewing, ready to turn triumph into turmoil.
Odyssey Sims hit the floor very hard during the game last night, and her teammates came out to the floor to check on her, except, of course, the girls on the bench, Caitlin Clark, Chloe Bibby, Sophie Cunningham, they came to half court. Did not cross the line, by the way. But for whatever reason, we had a situation involving Paula Blart, mall cop. That's right, played this time in the role by Wheezy from Jefferson, the Jeffersons. Showed up last night to try to check Sophie Cunningham. Did she think Sophie Cunningham was about to run out there cause an incident? Sophie Cunningham's in a damn leg contraption. It's not even a brace, it's like a contraption.
Out of all the celebrating players, a league-appointed security official locked onto a single solitary target, Sophie Cunningham. The absurdity of this choice was staggering. Sophie was standing near mid-court cheering for her teammates while wearing a massive restrictive leg brace from her own injury. She was a non-factor, a non-threat, and yet she was about to become the center of a league-wide scandal. Suddenly, and with a stunning lack of professionalism, the security guard marched directly up to Sophie, invading her personal space and visibly shouting at her. The official's body language wasn't about maintaining order. It was aggressive, confrontational, and completely unwarranted. She treated Sophie not like a professional athlete, celebrating a hard-earned win, but like a common troublemaker who had stormed the court.
Odyssey was holding her right shoulder.
Within minutes, the clip went viral, and the internet unleashed an avalanche of fury. Nobody was talking about the Fever's incredible victory anymore. The entire narrative had been completely derailed by one question. Echoing across social media, what in the world did Sophie Cunningham do to deserve being publicly humiliated by the WNBA's own staff during a team celebration? The optics were a disaster. As fans slowed down the footage and analyzed it from every angle, the situation became even more bizarre and indefensible. Standing almost shoulder to shoulder with Sophie was the face of the league, Caitlin Clark herself, along with teammate Chloe Bibby. Both were cheering, clapping, and celebrating with equal passion, yet the security guard walked right past them, making a beeline only for Sophie. This was no random encounter, it was targeted.
And I think we all know that if there's one thing that male sports fans want to see in their spaces and on their screens, it's more of me.
This ugly incident tapped directly into a narrative the league and certain media outlets have pushed for years, that Sophie Cunningham is the WNBA's designated villain. She's fiery, she's confident, and she refuses to apologize for who she is. And for that, she's been marked. But having league staff treat her like a criminal crossed a line no one thought they'd see so blatantly. The comment sections exploded with theories that all pointed to the same uncomfortable truth. Fans were blunt, claiming Sophie gets targeted because she's a popular white player who doesn't fit the league's preferred image or storylines. They relentlessly pointed out the hypocrisy, with thousands of comments saying this would never happen to other league darlings. It was a raw, unfiltered referendum on the WNBA's perceived biases and selective enforcement. The reaction to the security guard herself took on a life of its own, as she became a symbol of everything fans despise about petty authority. She was labeled everything from a power-hungry mall cop to the WNBA's latest clown. This resonated so deeply because it was a classic case of someone with a little bit of power using it to bully and create a scene. The guard wasn't de-escalating a situation. She was creating one, seemingly for her own ego, turning a moment of joy into her personal stage. The double standard on display was impossible to ignore. Imagine for a second if a player like Angel Reese or Natasha Cloud had been celebrating with that same energy. They would have been universally hailed as passionate leaders and the ultimate supportive teammates, but because it was Sophie, the league's actions implied she was out of control and needed to be publicly put in her place. It's a disgusting, transparently biased approach to player management. This isn't just an isolated incident, it's part of a disturbing pattern of PR disasters that have plagued the WNBA. Think back to when the league and its media partners tried to blame racism on fans for booing Angel Reese, or the endless controversy surrounding Caitlin Clark, where hard fouls against her are dismissed as just part of the game. The league has consistently fumbled major moments, choosing to create division and drama instead of simply celebrating the sport. This confrontation was just the latest chapter. This controversy is also inextricably linked to the Caitlin Clark effect. The league has failed miserably to protect Clark from on-court targeting all season, and now they were allowing her most vocal supporter on the team to be harassed on the sideline. It sends a clear, chilling message to every player in the league. If you don't fit our preferred narrative, you are on your own. The league will not protect you. For a league that talks endlessly about its unprecedented growth and record-breaking ratings, this was a moment of stunning self-sabotage. Instead of a highlight reel of a thrilling playoff win, the WNBA's brand became associated with a power-tripping official and the public shaming of an injured player. It was a PR nightmare entirely of their own making, making the entire organization look amateurish and incompetent on a national stage. And then the final damning piece of evidence dropped. Clearer, wider-angle shots surfaced online, showing the security guard's deliberate path. She had to actively ignore Caitlin Clark and Chloe Bibby to single out Sophie. This wasn't about a rule against being on the court. It was a premeditated act of intimidation aimed at one specific person, and the video evidence made that undeniable. But Sophie didn't fold under the pressure. You could see the initial confusion on her face quickly turn to that trademark Cunningham defiance. She stood her ground, refusing to be intimidated. She didn't escalate the situation, but she also made it crystal clear she would not be bullied. That strength only made her fanbase rally around her even harder, turning her into a symbol of resistance against the league's petty politics. As the backlash intensified to a fever pitch, fans turned their attention to the top of the WNBA food chain. Where was Commissioner Kathy Engelbert? Her silence was deafening and frankly insulting. By failing to immediately address the incident, apologize to Sophie, and announce disciplinary action for the official, the league created a vacuum that was filled with anger and accusations that this unprofessional behavior is accepted, if not encouraged, at the highest levels. What this confrontation truly exposed is a league at war with itself. The WNBA desperately needs outspoken, popular personalities like Sophie Cunningham to grow its fan base and stay relevant in a crowded sports market. Yet, it seems determined to punish those same players for not conforming to a quiet, pre-approved, and frankly boring image. They want the viewership, but not the authentic voices that come with it. The most glaring question that emerged from the footage was about the other players. Where were her teammates? As Sophie was being accosted, no one immediately stepped in. This isn't a criticism, but an observation of the impossible situation they were in. Intervening could have resulted in fines or suspensions, putting their own playoff run at risk. Their silence in that moment speaks volumes about the culture of fear the league has created. The irony is that Sophie Cunningham is one of the league's most engaging and marketable players. Whether the front office likes it or not, her merchandise sells out, her interview clips get millions of views, and her name constantly trends on social media. She is a massive, undeniable asset that any smart league would build around. Instead, the WNBA seems intent on treating her like a problem child they need to contain. This is the kind of nonsense that drives away the very audience the WNBA is trying to attract. The millions of new fans who started watching because of Caitlin Clark don't care about petty league politics. They see a security guard yelling at an injured player and conclude the entire league is a circus. It undermines the talent on the court and the legitimacy of the sport itself. And let's be clear, this wasn't just a rogue employee having a bad day. It was a symptom of a much deeper, more corrosive cultural issue within the WNBA. It suggests a corporate environment where certain players are prejudged and targeted, while others are protected at all costs. It's a rot that starts from the top and poisons the entire product, turning fans against the very organization they want to support. This debacle has real-world consequences that go beyond social media outrage. What are major sponsors like State Farm, Google, and Nike thinking when they see this? Brands invest millions into leagues to be associated with professionalism and excellence, not petty drama and public bullying. Every incident like this chips away at the WNBA's value and makes it a riskier investment. This isn't just bad PR, it's bad business. The league may hope this blows over, but they are forgetting one crucial factor: Sophie Cunningham herself. She has never been one to stay silent in the face of injustice. While she handled the moment with class, her real response is yet to come. Whether it's on a podcast, in an interview, or on her own social media, Sophie will have her say. The league created this monster, and now they have to deal with the fallout when she decides to speak her truth. At the end of the day, this was never about enforcing a rule. It was about power and control. The league tried to single out and humiliate a player they see as a problem, but all they did was expose their own hypocrisy and incompetence. Sophie Cunningham's only crime was passionately celebrating with her team, and for that, she became the target of a league that once again proved it is its own worst enemy. The fans see it, and they are not letting this go.